Hello, 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 gorgeous faces. I have got DB Watson here with us today. And I was saying before the call, I was so excited because you know those people, because I did a book for you years and years and years and years ago when I was a baby narrator. And so you know when you've known someone because you've like worked with them, it's like you're my kindergarten friend. Like you already
Exactly.
know the person. But I don't know much about you. I know that you've been writing almost your whole life.
Yes.
Tell me about 10-year-old DB.
Oh, well, she was more an introvert, sort of like I am now. She's quiet, um, listens a lot to people's conversation when I'm around people. I'm not more of a put outer. I just sit and listen. And she was just coming into bloom of writing. I started finding ways, like my mother found out that I liked to fib, tell tall tales through school, and I was telling it to teachers. And when they shared the information with her, she realized, oh, okay, she's lying, but she's doing it very creatively. So she asked me to stop lying and to just write it on paper. And I sat there and thought about it. I said, I don't know how to do such a thing. So I started looking through books to see how they structured a story. I wasn't very good at it, but she said, just take the story that's in your head and just put it on paper. And I started doing that. But I didn't really quite know what I was writing. I was just writing thoughts.
So you had a
Um,
good mother. That's a good mother there.
yeah, she was good
Yeah.
on that part. I didn't know what she was doing, and I guess she didn't really know what she was doing. I guess she just wanted me to stop lying to people so
Yeah.
much, and
No,
that was
but
a good
still,
thing.
I can tell you, if I got caught lying when I was a kid, my mother wouldn't have said, honey, start writing a journal. My mother would have said, stop lying.
Well, that was her first words, but I just looked at her and didn't believe I was lying. I literally looked
Um,
at her like, but it's not a lie. You know, I really made it real good. She said the way you structure it, it looked like you were building on it as you were telling me. So she had to explain it to me. So she calmed down by doing that. And that's how she got me to. And I said, yeah, writing it down. So I kept journals. I got blank books, which were way cheaper than they are now. And I started writing down things. And then I had to really think about what kind of stories do I want to read? What kind of stories aren't there? And that's when I started finding my genre that I started writing now. Um, I, at a very young age, was curious about boys, and I snuck one of her little romance books, and it had a gay couple in it. And but they died tragically. And I asked her, why did they die tragically? They didn't do anything wrong. And she was trying to explain it to this 9-year old. And I it was really going over my head, but all I felt was that I wanted a happy story for them. So I realized all the little stories I started writing dealt with boys and a relationship, developing a relationship, but not dying at the end. She thought it back then that was like no, that was taboo. My mother read my journal. She said, you can't write about this. If someone sees you, you get in a lot of trouble. I said, but I want them to have a happy ending. And I just
oh,
stuck to my guns. I don't want people sad like that. I don't think those boys did anything wrong. They just wanted to like each other. They weren't doing anything bad to anyone, and it just affected me badly. And so I decided I'm just going to write stories about guys and them dealing with life and moving through life and relationships and breakups and all that. I just wanted all that in a book, and I couldn't find any books that kept a relationship together. All the books I've ever found was they started off fine, they ended up either breaking up, marrying a girl, or being miserable or dying. And it was just so heartbreaking. And there were some real
can,
good
can,
stories out there. It's just really sad ending.
I,
And I
I, I've got to say, now that you say that, because the book I did for you, the thing that struck me, and you're a master at this, because I don't think I have ever read or heard another book that does this, is that people had relationships. I mean, they were all mixed up. I can't remember now, it was years ago, but male, male, and you know, people weren't in boxes. They had different types of relationships, but literally, it wasn't the point. It was like just a fact. It was like, she's blonde, he's got a boyfriend or a husband. It was
Mm-hmm.
a fact. It
It was,
wasn't like in every other book, even if it isn't the point or the plot,
mm-hmm.
they make a big deal about people that are different.
Exactly.
Their difference becomes a caricature of them instead of their personality. Whereas people that aren't different, that fit all the right boxes, they get to just be themselves, just who they
Exactly.
are, their personality. But anyone that's different, suddenly it's not that you're an introvert or a funny guy or maybe kind of a jerk. It's that you're heterosexual, homosexual, this, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like they take a little label, you know. I mean, I considered myself overweight. I don't know. These days, I don't know what it is, but most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I wasn't judged for like who I was. I was judged for, oh, the girl that's big.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it pisses me off. And you just don't do it. It's completely missing from your books. Your
Yeah.
book was a thriller. It was about a murder.
Mm-hmm.
The Everything else was just a description of the people and their circumstances. And I love that. And I think other writers might try to do it, but you can see biases creep in.
Exactly. I just wanted to walk into it like it was just a normal, everything normal. I mean,
Yeah.
there's still that hierarchy of rich, poor, and that and power basis in my stories. But the whole fact of you being gay, it's mentioned, but there's no it's against the law, it was this, it was that. I said the whole point of fiction is escapism. I want to
Yeah.
escape from the realities that I had to see. I was in my teens in the 80s. That was when I was blossoming. I got my first boyfriend and everything. I was going to act like a maniac out there. Every time I wanted to be the bad girl, something tragically happens. I wanted to smoke. Something happened where I couldn't smoke. So that pissed me off. I ain't gonna tell you what I wanted to do as when I got blossomed, but the things I wanted to do, all of a sudden, that's when the AIDS epidemic came out. And I
Yeah,
was
me
like, what
too.
in the
Me
world?
too. I
What in
couldn't
the
be
world? I wanted to.
promiscuous because I was a worrier. You want to
The
catch me?
70s had it all. The 70s was kicking. But I said,
Yeah.
I want to live, I want to do that stuff. No, you can't. Now there's this illness, and now you got to wear condoms. And then I was like, oh my God. So when I wrote, I said, you know what? Because everyone kept saying, oh, he's got to wear a condom. I said, he's a fictional character. Honey, he's not going to kill anybody. He's not going to get no girl pregnant unless I demand he gets her pregnant.
but because of that, you put them in situations, whereas in another book, if you were a person that wasn't comfortable with that type of thing, you might be kind of like, ooh, but you aren't, because it's like a safe place. It's a normal world where people do normal things, and part of normal things are occasionally people have sex. And some
Exactly.
people do drugs, but it isn't like a it's weird. It's like when you wrote the book, you didn't pick a side. You
Exactly.
weren't the nice girl writing the book about the sleazy characters, wink,
Mhm.
wink. And you weren't the sleazy character writing a book about how hard it was home, wink, wink. You didn't pick a side.
No.
And it's got to be. Do you consciously maintain your objectivity when you're writing a book, or do you just forget and fall into your world?
I fall into it. I
Yeah.
literally allow them while I'm writing, like especially dialogues. I love dialogue. I think conversation is great because I can't really have good conversations with people I don't know very long. Like you, I feel like I'm very comfortable with you, and you're
We've known
like my
each other since
therapist. So, you're making
kindergarten.
me open up here. But with my stories, I allow my characters, as I had developed them, especially after the first book, to tell me how they want to go, how they're damaged, because they are damaged, um, how they want to pursue, even if it's a huge mistake. going down the road. I want the reader to feel like, oh, they tell me, people have told me that the characters they hate and the characters they love and who they want them to be with. I said, everyone thinks they know who everyone should be with and a
Yeah.
relationship. But you
Yeah.
don't realize when I see opposites dating, I am overjoyed that yes, you two found a connection, even though society says you two are completely wrong for each other. But the only reason that is because of the way they look. That's
Yeah.
it. You don't know who these people are and how come they
Yeah.
connect. You crucified them because they aren't supposed to be together. And that's what I do with my kids. I said, there's a reason these two are together, and you just got to understand the chemistry between them worked. Where the one you wanted him to be with, it would have been a disaster. It would have been a disaster for the both of them. And I just allowed them to let me follow them along. And I just, type it out. I've destroyed so many chapters where I said, this is insane. They wouldn't do this. This character would not do this. I completely wrote off the book, and I will destroy those chapters and start from the beginning. And they came out stronger. Um, I see them as like real people. I even dream about them. I talking to them. I know exactly their route, where they're going to end up. I even see their end game. These stories are like, I first he was going to be a single book. The Harlequin, the first book, that was going to be a single story. But then I realized, God, I really like these guys, all these people, his family, they're both their families. I love them, and I want to see this journey continue on. So, yeah.
So you've just triggered something. Oh gosh, here's my vow of, and I have got Jonathan here. Jonathan, you're gonna laugh your head off when you hear this. I'm not editing the calls anymore. I'm not gonna like cut out embarrassing, stupid things I say. So, because just to get them turned around faster. So here's one we're gonna put out right now.
Okay.
I'm impressed that you developed. I had an epiphany pretty much a few weeks ago, whereas I found out that people that I thought was like very, very, very close
Mm-hmm.
actually didn't like me. But this isn't about me. I really do have a point, I promise. And the things they were saying, describing, were like nothing to do with the way I saw things. And it really drove home. I've always known this, but I've never really realized how much we literally live in our own world. Like we see things so differently. I think that's a gift of a writer, is that you for a little while make us see things, the world through your eyes. And if you're a good writer like you are, you can do it. Like these people didn't understand me or know me at all. They literally couldn't be further from the truth. They just literally don't know me. And you seem to I don't think I had a good sense of myself. I think I always knew I was different. And for instance, little things, vacations. Everyone goes on a vacation and they have this wonderful, wonderful time for like 4 days or a week. And then they go back home and complain about their life.
Yeah.
Why do you not just make sure your life is the vacation? I don't take days off and I don't go on vacations. Maybe I should. I used to travel a lot. Why do you not make your life the thing that you're excited? And then like somebody told me the other day, oh, it's human nature. Everyone complains and talks gossips about each other behind their backs. That's what people do. I don't.
I don't
I
do.
don't. I'm nice to everyone behind their back and to their face. And when I don't like you anymore, I stop being around you. I don't
Exactly.
understand how the rules of the world.
Mm.
How did you understand? Was it because of your mother? How did you figure out the rules of your world? And how are you strong enough that you spoke it to the world the way you did at such a young age and continued through your life?
It wasn't all through my mother. It was probably my older brother, James. We were almost twins, so we were pretty close. But he's the only one who I can go to and talk about anything. And he'll listen. He'll sit there and just listen. And he will ask me, do you want me to tell you the straight truth? And I said, yes, even though it hurts sometimes. He'll tell me the straight truth of what I'm doing. I realized it wasn't until I was older that I might be autistic. I believe I am. I believe I've seen the signs when I was younger. And like I said, back when I was little, though everything was a secret, even a girl's first period, it was a secret. Everything was a sheltered secret in your mother's closet, you know? So when I realized something was different about me, I had to find a way to survive amongst these other people who find me odd. When they start seeing the oddness of me, I sort of shut down. I'll stay quiet until they pull me into the group. They
You
get
know,
my
the
attention.
oddness, I get that look. The
Yeah,
window goes over their eyes, doesn't it?
yeah,
The
yeah. And I said, uh-oh, I gotta stop
yeah.
talking and
I
I
do the
gotta
opposite. I turn on the charm and win them over. But then I'm stuck winning these bastards over for the rest of my life.
right, right. And I just
Yeah.
sense like the ones who don't want to, oh, I don't want to be bothered with you today. And I said, well, then don't talk to me. If you don't want to be bothered with me, it's just leave me be. They
They've
always see
they've
me
made a
alone.
decision about
Right.
you. They've made a decision because you didn't do something
Or
that
I didn't perform
signaled
with
you were
them like
part of the herd.
exactly. I'm not
Yeah,
part of the herd. I
right,
can't be.
right.
So I grow quiet. I am very quiet. I can stand in a crowd of people and they're talking all around me. And I will literally shut off from hearing. And they said, did you hear that, Denise? I said, no, I wasn't listening. You didn't clue me. So I decided not to listen. And they said, Denise does this all the time. I literally don't hear them. I will shut down because I feel it's none of my business. But they hear everything I say if I say it. But yeah. And it's like I just said, I go into my little world. I said, I'm working in my head. The story's there and I hear it. I hear their voices. My goodness, the notes I have written on such odd things I have around my room. It's just insanity. I work at this store where I have these little paper bags and I always fold the paper bag. I come home with notes on them, just an idea for the next chapter. I got a box full of those things. I won't throw them
So
away.
when do you write? Do you have a ritual for when you write? How do you make yourself write when you're doing like work and everything as well? How do you?
Um, During the week, I work like a 40-hour week. So I can't come home to go to work typing because I'm exhausted and my eyes hurt. So
Mm.
like I said, little paper bags, I wrote the ideas down and my brain holds that idea and knows what's going to come after. I don't even have to write that down. I just need that prompt to get me going. So on the weekend when I'm off, I can sit on my computer, bounce out a couple of chapters because I got it written as a note. Right now I'm on vacation. So I'm able to get up and go write a little bit. So that's what I do. I write up a little bit every morning. I try to at least get a chapter out. That take me about 3 to 4 hours to get it all out the way I want it.
Do you go to
Um,
the same place? Do you have
yeah,
like
I'm the
I
same
sit here,
spot on
I
my
have my
couch.
coffee cup.
Yeah, my little cup of coffee. I have 2 cups every day. That's my thing. And I sit at the couch and I put my headphones in. I listen to either what the mood of the story is going. If it's a thriller, then I need a thriller, but it's got to be only music. It can't be words. Because if I'm hearing a song, I'm going to start singing and I forget to type. But everything's got to be in music form and I can go nuts. I need classical music if it's a calm, subtle scene. But if it's a dark, I throw dark fantasy on it and then give me that drum. Depression songs, if it's going to be a really sad scene coming, they bring out those tears. Yeah, that's what I do. But everything's got to
So
be in music.
did you listen to audiobooks before you had your first audiobook done?
I did. I went to the library and checked them out. You remember the cassette tapes? That was
Yep,
insane.
yep,
Keeping those
yep.
rewind and I who was my writer?
So you were already a listener when you had your
Oh yeah, I knew about audiobooks. I thought I could read faster if I listen to audiobooks and I could read on the bus with my other books. That's what I did.
mm,
Who was the first writer? It was a mystery writer. James. PD
PD
James.
James.
Oh
PD
my
James,
God,
yeah.
somebody got me on her first book. I was hooked. And I said, this is the genre I want to write for. But I didn't understand it. So I read everything she wrote. And I fell in love with her detective, Adam Dinklage. He was just awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
she was my winner there.
So what was it like when you heard your first book brought into
On
audio?
audio? Oh,
Was it what you expected? I can't, right? Don't tell me because I don't know if I was your first book. So let's not bring that into it. Just in general, your
when I
first book.
heard my first recording on one of my stories, I giggled like a schoolgirl. I sat there on the couch with my hand over my mouth, giggling. Like, oh my God, that's my story. And I would walk listening to it like, oh my God, I wrote that. I can't believe I wrote that. And then I said, someone's reading this, the dirty scenes. And I said, oh my God, they're reading. I was getting so bashful that my mother was going to catch me. I said, Nancy, you're a 40-year-old woman. What's the matter with you? But I was on a bus giggling, hearing those sex scenes. I said, oh my God, I wrote that. I said, oh, so people thought it was
Puts
great.
a whole new perspective on.
I was like, oh my God, my mother's going to slap me in the back of the head. What are you listening to? But she's,
What about your first published book? When did you always know you were going to write a book, or was there a journey to
oh, I
getting the
wrote
courage?
books. Like
But
I said, when I was
publishing it,
9 and I
but
started
publish.
actually, well, it was 11 when I figured out how to structure a story to a degree. I actually started writing stories. I've been writing stories for like forever. I just
Mhm.
never thought that they were worthy to be published.
So when
And
did that happen? What was the trigger for that? What changed all that?
uh, it was it was like I'm getting older. And I said, this is something I really enjoy. It's just not shaking off like most people who have hobbies. They eventually just drop them. These dreams are theirs. I said, but I said, I'm not very good at math. And I said, my job is mundane. I said, but I do know how to write a dang good story. I said, I need to get this one published. I need to find out if it's worthy, is it worth it to do it? And I just want to see it in print so I could put it on my bookshelf and just look at it and say, that's my book. That was before I even had it recorded. I just needed to see it printed professionally. So when I did it, it was like, I still didn't believe it. And I was just like, I don't care if anyone buys it. I just have my book with my name on it sitting on my shelf right now looking at me. It was
Yeah,
the best feeling ever.
yeah,
But and I sat there says, if nobody even reads it, I don't care because I just wrote the story I've always wanted to read for my whole life. And I could finally read it. And then when audio came to mind, when it was becoming digital, I said, I can actually hear my book consistently. And that's what it was just so wonderful. It was like having your first kid. It was like that when I like had my first daughter. That's what it felt like. It's less painful, but it felt great. It felt
but
great.
but it's also, as I said, because of the nature of the way you write, it's a mirror to a new world. It's we had a call um a few weeks ago with Zachman. She's another narrator, and she was talking about the golden era is coming, and that be in the right place when it arrives. And a lot of it was to do with, because people were isolated and on Zoom and everything went AI, people are going to want to join together. They're going to want to be around other people. They're going to want to hear each other tell stories. And we were saying it's kind of like the old speakeasy, like in
Oh, that'd be
basements, just,
fun.
telling stories. But if you think about it, you giving voice to characters with happy endings in real lives and not just labels. Everyone's talking about it, but it's like a marketing thing. It's like diversity, we're
Yeah,
checking the right boxes, but you're literally in the spot that the golden era that's coming is going to, people are craving connection and looking each other in the eye, aren't they? I think they are.
I think so too. Um, I it's funny. I worked at this one place where a gentleman I worked with, he was so much fun. His name was Scott. And we were talking about stuff left and right. And he was from the South. He had this really cool accent. And he mentioned said about being homosexual and all that. I just looked at him and was like, almost I said, what did you say? And he really, I had no idea he was gay. And I said, he said, "Come on, Denise." He says, "I'm more the most flamboyant man in the building." I was like, "Yeah, but I just thought that was a quirk. It just never occurred to me. I just thought you were a really cool guy, and I just wanted to get to know you." I said, "Not on a sexual level. It's just that I wanted to be your friend, and we connected that." He said, "You had no clue." I said,
See,
"Didn't care."
that's why you are like me. That is exactly the revelation I had this last week. I don't understand labels. I
Right.
don't get them. I don't even notice them because it's not important to me. I
No,
don't care.
no.
But I guess evidently, I'm like 99 years old. I wish I'd figured this out earlier. I guess people assumed that I was stupid because I didn't automatically get it. Like, I
Exactly.
think people equate fitting into the herd with intelligence. And to me, it's sheep. Aren't sheep in a herd? I mean,
Yeah.
every book, doesn't it warn you, don't be a
Be
sheep?
a sheep.
It's, I don't know. I love that. I like the Mavericks. I think the greatest artists and writers in the world are Mavericks.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I had one editor tell me that she wanted me to change that scene in the first book. Um, and all it was that he was jumping from one fire escape to another across from his alleyway. And she said to keep it in realism, she said, you can't have him do that. Have him run down the stairs and go around the corner. I said, what? That won't be fun. I said the character Adam is in when he gets into a rescue mode, he is like the golden knight, the hero. He just goes into that mindset, even though people around him see nothing but danger. He can either get himself killed, but his mindset is, I have to get from this Z to A in matters of seconds to save that person. That's how he feels. That's all he ever feels. And he can't change himself from that. And that was from actually a damage moment from his life. And I explained that through the books. I say, I can't let each book be on its own. Everyone kept saying, each book on its own story. I said, well, sort of, but it's all interconnected because you're going to learn about that person as the stories go further. You're going to learn about their quirks and their damage and why they act the way they want. Everything's mental.
You've created
So
the world. They live in the same world. They share the world, but the book had a definitive ending. Because what I
exactly.
understand is people don't like cliffhangers. They don't want to like read the book and then leave unsatisfied, and then they have to read the next book or they won't know what happened. But your books don't do that because
No,
it was a definitive ending. They caught the bad guy, right? But the
exactly.
world is it's it, and I like that because then you can go back to we all did that with when we were little. Nancy Drew and the Hardy
Hardy
Boys, Hardy
Boys.
Brothers.
Hardy Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the same world.
Hmm.
Murder, she wrote.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, that woman, seriously, if she shows up at your house, don't let her in
I
because
won't let her
someone
in.
will die.
My daughter loves her. She loves her.
But there is something so, just to have Jessica put on a cup of coffee in that Mr. Coffee machine. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? All's well with the world. Even though
Yeah.
bodies are dropping left, right, and center, the world is safe.
Yeah. She never comes to a realization that why am I always ending up in places where dead people are dying? Is it me? Is it, she should always ask, is this me? Am I bringing this dark feeling to you people? You were fine till I got in town, up until now. And then suddenly you need me to solve this case. That always freaked me out.
And
But
there is something coming. I find that I'm watching sitcoms. I don't know if you've ever done this. I never used to be able to watch like those long, like 8 series,
uh
and they're mindless sitcoms. And I'm finding that like there's one, Ghosts. Have you seen Ghosts?
no, I haven't seen Ghost.
Oh my God. Okay,
What channel is that on? I'll look
okay,
for it.
there's a Ghosts US and a Ghosts UK. I
Okay.
highly recommend both of them. Ghosts
Okay.
UK is BBC.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can get that there or where you can get Ghosts US, but it's been out for a while, so you've got to be able to see it somewhere. It is the perfect, and I think you'll love it because of the array of different characters in it. Because but it's exactly what we're talking about. They
Ooh.
create a safe. It, I don't want to give away spoilers, but it's you've got to watch it. You'll love it.
I'm gonna look it up on YouTube, and then I'm gonna go search for it.
I just watched Ghosts US, the entire thing again, and now I'm
Wow.
back on Ghosts UK, the entire thing, working my way through. It's total comfort TV.
Okay.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay.
The characters are brilliant. I think you'll really enjoy it.
I
Um,
found it, so I'll look at that after we're done. I'll
oh,
check it
definitely,
out.
definitely, and let me know what you think, and let me know what you think, because I
Okay.
think you really, really like it. I hope you
Okay.
get hooked, so then I'm not the only one.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So
Mhm.
I'm fascinated by this. So you found your way around the world, you navigated. When you've been writing, we all run into a point in our life where we have to learn a big lesson and we have to kind of change direction or change who we are. Can you think of what that lesson is? The thing that's changed about you the most from like when you first started your journey is like a hopeful, believing in magic, kind of 9-year-old, gonna write happy endings.
Oh, you mean like in the course of me
Yeah,
becoming a
growing up,
writer,
like
or
growing up, like the
anytime?
biggest lesson growing up as a human
Oh,
being, like the way you do things, the way you live your life, the way you think about things.
the way I approach relationships, it taught me I'm a very loyal person. I'm very loyal. When I started dating for the first time, I was extremely loyal to him. Um, Turns out, even though he was older than me, he cheated. And it was like when he did it and it happened, it wasn't just I'm upset that he cheated with another woman. I was more upset that he wasn't faithful to me. And you broke this contract or this agreement between us. Because I always told him, even though guys had looked at me and he got jealous, I said, I only have eyes for you. I didn't see any of them. I always told him that. But I think that's because of my autism, and I didn't know I was like that. I was very focused. And when he did it, and he thought it was okay to come back to me, I felt, even though I said, you're a very handsome man, but no, I don't have time for that drama. I
Mhm.
don't like cheaters, but I don't fight people for a man, for people. I'm not going to fight this girl for you or to affection. If you want
Mhm.
her, by all means, go get her.
Well, because
I
he
don't have the
betrayed
time in the
you.
world.
He betrayed you.
Right. I don't have time in the world to argue over you.
Right.
I can't do that. I said, if you want to be happy with somebody else, then go be happy with her. So I could be happy with, doing what I'm doing. I'm really like being really alone. I'm really always thought I would be a single woman by myself. But eventually I did have a craving for a child, and I had a child. I really just thought he was going to leave me. But no, he didn't. He stayed with me, and we're married for 30 years. So there we go. But I had the epiphany that if he ever did wanted to leave, all right. Because being alone doesn't frighten me. I like that. And I realized that my books keep me my writing stories keeps me company, because the stories are just rolling in my head. I'm busy. I got things to do. I places to see, but I like doing it by myself. You know, I don't have to balance the fact that is he going to enjoy this? Is he going to get bored? Is he going to ask me to split half or anything like that? I just that's what I realized in relationship. I don't have to be so faithful. I can openly say, I'm not happy anymore. I'm going to go. And I should have done that in the relationship halfway through. We were together for 7 years. I should have stopped after 3 and just said, it was a good experience. I had fun, but I'm going to go. I just like, he kept me from writing. I've realized in relationships, they didn't want me to write. They found every way to try to discourage me that my writing wasn't good enough. And I just looked at him like, and I always gave him the speech like, I'm not good at math. I'm not that great of a cook, but I damn sure know how to write a story.
You remind me of Anais Nin. Do you know Anais Nin, the journals, her diaries?
Yes, I
Yes, you
do.
remind me of her.
Oh, no way.
You do. You
It's just the
remind me of
one thing
her.
I know I'm good at. And I
Mm.
know how to structure a story. It took me a long time to learn from reading books, and I had to read everything. I can't read just one thing. Like I never just read mysteries. I read anything anyone handed me. I said, sure, I'll read it. Because I want to see how they structure a story, not fiction or fiction. I want to see how they do it. And am I doing the formula right? And I realized it is a formula. All I had to do is get that formula down. A, B, and C. And then I figured it out. And so, yeah, I outside world with my kids is awesome, but at least they get bored of me quickly, so I can easily fall back into my writing more than a relationship. You know what I mean? My kids know that I love them, and if they need me, they'll find me. But they give me space. They give me breathing air. They encourage me. They love my stuff. Um, I know it may be because they're my kids, but I tell them that this is something now that I want to pass to you. I want you, this is the gift to you. Um, I I can't see myself doing anything else other than this. So what I'm yeah, I can't see myself changing careers into anything else.
Because you're so self-assured. I think that's because we talk about joining the herd and the tribe, and we talk about people fitting in, and whether it's autism or ADHD or any of the different spectrums these days. I've never met anyone that seems to know themselves so well. And I think that's a superpower. I think that's a superpower. And I think that's what shows up in your books, because you can get rid of all the other rubbish, other people's dramas, lack of focus, and you're just in the story for the sake of the story. That's a superpower.
I like the, that's nice to say. Thank you. I'm gonna tell my daughter that.
That's
I like
definitely, it
that.
should be, take it from someone that's, you've learned lessons that like some of us are waiting till we're like 99 years old to figure out. But you caught on pretty quickly. You got rid of that one relationship very fast. You
Yeah.
decided what was important to you very fast. You don't seem to waste time because you know what you want and what you don't want.
Right. And I go by a clock. Like I said, okay, I'm getting older. I said, anything can happen. I could break a hip, I could have a stroke. I said, anything can happen to me right now. I said, I gotta get this stuff out of me and print and publish. So my kids can look back and say, there's mom. She's right there. She's in those pages. Because I told them which character I relate to more. Who has my quirks, who has my problems. Each character has a little problem with me, of me. I said, I'm always going to be in between these pages. If you miss me, you just open one of these books. I'm in there. I'm just
Oh,
broken up into different characters. I'm just
do
broken
either
up.
of your kids show signs of wanting to write?
Yeah, my youngest is showing signs. She even draws. My oldest is an artist. So yeah, they show signs. And I encouraged them, high heaven. I said, do it. I said, when you finish it, I'll get it edited. I'll get it published. I said, nobody helped me. I was completely on my own, blindsided. I didn't know what to do. I was swindled. I was tricked. I lost
Oh
money.
no.
I should have just quit.
You were swindled by one of those "we'll give you PR" people?
PR, and there was a publishing house. It was two of them. They kept telling me to give them money, and I was young and naive. I didn't know what was right or
Mm.
wrong, and I started giving. I wanted to see my book published, and before Amazon came out, and so it was really hard. Publishers were saying, "No, we didn't want this. This isn't what we're looking for." I'm like, "Okay, fine." But yeah, I got swindled, and I said, "Okay, lesson learned." it could stop me from writing. I said, you know what? It's only money. I said, I got a job. I'll just save up a little more and I'll try again in a different direction.
How long did it take you to get over the feelings of having been swindled? Did you not let it knock you sideways, or did
Well,
you
the
just
first time I had
get
a
up
good
and dust
cry.
yourself off?
The first time it happened ever, I cried about it. But then I
Mm.
realized either you stop writing and let that jerk take you for what he did, or keep writing and prove him wrong and show them. And like I said, this is way before Amazon came out. So I was just floating out there all by myself. So I said, I have to do this. It's in me. It felt like not a cancer, but it felt like it was stuck in there. And I just got to get it out of me, or I was going to explode on somebody in a different way. So I just said, I'm just going to keep writing. It makes me happy. It calms me down. I've just got to get, and especially when I'm stressed, I kept writing and I wrote it out. I didn't write what happened to me. I just wrote a story, and the story worked out better. A lot of people says when I'm at a stressful moment, I seem to bring out my best work. I said, oh, I don't want to keep doing that. It's stress. I don't like stress too much. It just, but I said, I handle high pressure moments. Um, you got a deadline, I could get a deadline done because it's just motivated me. Now I can sit at my computer and write, and no one can bother me because I have a deadline. Whereas, oh, I don't have a deadline. You can take your time. Then I start procrastinating and just saying, well, there was that show I wanted to look at, or shoot, that kitchen looking kind of dirty. I'm gonna go over there and start cleaning something. I start doing stuff like that. I
You're
wish I
gonna
had
hate me
timelines, but
when you start watching ghosts. You're gonna hate me.
oh, I can't wait now. That sounds so encouraging. I
I
can't
can't. I
wait.
can't go to bed before 3 in the morning anymore. This is the second time I'm watching.
Oh man, I'll watch it as soon as I'm off here now. This is
It's
great.
the characters. At first, I thought it was going to be cheesy, but the
Mm.
characters. Jonathan wants to know, how long does it take you to write a book?
Oh, if like on now I'm on vacation. If I was left alone, it would take me at most a month to write a whole book. This book I'm writing is taking me 3 months because I have to keep going back forward to work. But now that I'm on vacation, I plan on finishing this novel before I go to work. That's my goal hit. Because I have to start writing a script for a comic book. So yeah, it only takes me most a month.
You
To
write
finish
comic
up.
books too.
I have published a comic book called The Hunt. It's a vampire like and love story. And I forgot to tell you, it deals with, I made a universe around the Two Timer series.
Do you have it? Can we see it? Do you have it?
Can you see it? Ooh, let me
Hold it up. Oh, I love that. Can
it
people
looks
buy
good
it on
back cover.
Amazon?
It's on
Can people
Amazon.
buy it's on Amazon? Okay,
It's
when
on
we
Amazon.
well, give me the link to
Okay,
that at
okay.
the end
I'll
of the
send the
call, and
link to you.
we'll put it in the about section.
And then here, I'm gonna show you this. This is my first fantasy book.
Oh, very cool. So
And
how was it different than writing a thriller?
um it's a challenge, but when I say I'm gonna write my own book, I tend to know figure it out because I got a bunch of D&D playing kids in this house. So I could just run to them and say, can I do this? Can I do that? And I found out fantasy, I can get away with a lot of crap. So I went nuts in this book. Now, what I did was I used the characters from my Two Timer series, Adam and Patrick and all of them, and put them in a universe of a different reality. They're in this book, The Cursed Prince. Adam and Patrick are these characters, but in a different reality. One's a vampire, one's a lycan. And I'm taking them that's what I wanted to do. There's a sci-fi comic I've got coming out. He just finished the artwork on it for the cover. And that's in the same universe, but in a different galaxy, dealing with different characters. But if they came to our planet, they would be in their universe. Everything's connected. So that's I just love these guys so much that I said I'm just going to keep using them, but put them in different situations and other stories. It's
You've
like I'm my
created
own fan
worlds.
fiction.
Yeah, you've created worlds. I love it. I bet your
Yep.
kids are impressed that you've done comic books.
Yeah, yeah. This young lady I found on I wrote, this is a short comic. It's a little short one, but in the back I wrote the story of the lore of their
Do you
story.
do the artwork on it?
The young lady, she's from Indonesia. She did the artwork for me. And
Very good.
she's doing another comic for me right now. And then I have a young man from Argentina. He's doing my sci-fi comic. So when I get those, I'll send the links to you later.
Yeah, and I'll
But
add them to the about section so people can see them if they'd like.
um, yeah, these are my babies. I went to conventions. Everybody fell in love with them. I I did great at 2 conventions this past summer, so I'm having fun with them.
So if you're an introvert, because I'm an extrovert and I'm intimidated by those conventions, how that takes to me, that's very brave. I mean,
I take my oldest daughter. She's an
okay,
extrovert. So,
okay.
and I call her my publicist. She would yell at me saying, no, you can't do this, and no, you can't take that, and stuff like that. She helps me with that. She would tell me, stand up, mom. Tell them about your book. Tell them everything. Tell them more information. You didn't tell them enough. And then she would just yell at me, and I'm like, I said, okay, okay. And I'm doing it, but it works. And she's my backbone. So,
What's the benefit of those conventions? Do you think that they
um,
increase book
you get
sales
to
or
meet other fans. Oh, I never met an actual fan who said they read my book. I never did that yet. But I meet new people who they like physical copies in their hands. They like they're going to a bookstore. Plus I can sell them at the full price without getting that deduction from Amazon. So I can still get a cut of the money. And then I can dress up my table. Because my table, I dress it up with props and stuff that I create. And I say everything on this table has to deal with the books I wrote. There's nothing
oh,
on this
cool.
table that doesn't deal with it. So people like that. I bring them in like that. And I just have fun. I said, this is fun. It's like arts and crafts. And I just sit there and just, yeah, I laugh and smile with them. And I they come by and they're pretty cool. So if you get
Are
the
you going to
right
go to
convention,
more?
you can get real good sales in there.
Are you going to go to more? Do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm gonna
hooked now.
go. I would like to go further out of the United, where I live, because I live in Philadelphia, but I'm a little nervous about that. But my daughter says she'll come with me, so next summer I might go
That'd
outside
be
the
a
state.
girl's road trip. Put the
Yes,
radio on, get the munchies in the car. It'd be
that would
fun.
be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Oh, you could do a thing. You could do a thing where you go to the next convention and you guys stop at like all the weird little diners and like the tallest cactus in America
I always
places.
wanted to be a tourist and do stuff like that.
Like I always
I would
wanted to
find
do
that
that.
very interesting. I said, I'd be
It'd
the
be
one with the
fun.
camera, clicking everything. I said, oh my God,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
And you could wear like the tourist clothes, like the busy,
Mhm.
loud flowers and the camera.
Yep. Act completely ridiculous. I say, this is the greatest day of
I
my
would
life. Click,
so do
click,
that.
click.
I would so even put on an accent for the trip.
Yeah,
I would so
yeah.
do that.
My daughter say, oh, really, mom? I said, yes, really. I really want to be that girl. Give me some.
Okay, now this is the time of the call that I ask the question I ask everyone. Um, if you could leave one piece of advice, one word of wisdom, if people walked away from this call remembering nothing else but this one thing, people are going to be watching this YouTube video for the next 80 years or so, what would you want to leave them with?
If you're writing a story, just finish it. Um, get it down to the end and just sit back and breathe. You did it. That's what I would tell. Just finish it because it's a good story. No matter what anyone said to you, it's a good story.
Because do writers do that? They fear or lack of confidence, they stop before
They
the
they
end.
edit, they stop. They said, "Oh no, this needs to be revamped." No, it doesn't. No, Just get it to the end to save that. You're not experienced enough where I think young writers are not experienced enough to be able to stop in the middle, fix it, and then keep going because they lose track of themselves. I can do that. I can stop in the middle, fix it, and keep it going like a choo-choo train. It's just now it's just so easy for me. But a lot of the young writers don't do that. They say, oh, I have 3 chapters, but I stopped because it was that. I said, then you need to back it up and bring it in. I said, listen to it. I said, listen to your work. Listen to it. Because even if it's a robot voice, you can hear your words and you can hear the enunciation. You can hear where the comma needs to go. You can do that. That'll be the most easiest that you can do. Listen to it. And it sounds funky. Okay, there's your problem. Fix the little mess up and keep it going. So yeah, finish it. Finish that dang story. Get it to the end and then go back. Then go back and fix it. Because
and they're
so
not
many
going to
people
quit,
who
are they?
wrote.
Once they've finished it, they're not going to go, oh, because now you finished it. You have to submit it or do whatever to it because you've done it.
Exactly. Now you got to dedicate yourself to it. Oh, I can't afford to edit. No, just I said you could be your own editor. Just listen to it. You listen to that story. It's your story. That's why I love audiobooks. You can hear it and say, "Oh, I wish I fixed that part." But you know what? I said no. I said we're gonna keep this train going. Yeah, keep it going. I said unless it was a
Yeah.
huge mistake, then I would fix it. But it helped me, and I really I'm pushing them out. I got 3 books I'm working on, and this one I'll be finishing. This is the goal, the one I have to finish this week, and I'm having a
But
ball.
you say that for writers, and it just flashed into my mind whenever we get new narrators, and you just wish you could just like save them so much time because they go back and they listen to every breath and the way they said every word because they're so keen and anxious and they try to like they'll literally cut out breaths to like an 8-hour book, right? And you just want to say, A, it's not sustainable. You're not going to be able to do that
No.
forever if you want to be a working narrator. B, it doesn't even sound good. When if you're a new writer went back and fixed every little thing and made it absolutely word perfect through the whole way through, you'd end up with like a piece of plastic
Mm-hmm.
with no heart and no soul, you know.
Exactly.
And it's a sign of insecurity, I think, when you're new, and it's normal because you're new and you really want to be a perfectionist. You want to, you want to do well. But
But
then you
I
start
always saw it
building and
like, well, I read published writers, and some of them I found out while I'm listening or reading their book. I said they're making mistakes. I said this
yeah, they
whole
are.
thing could have been cut. I said, why are they doing it this way? He didn't need to put this chapter, and I'm talking about big names. And I'm
Yeah,
like, if
big
they
five
screw it
publishing
up,
audiobooks, and I hear like rookie mistakes, repeated sentences.
wrong name said, I'm like, wow. But you know what? If they can get away with those feeble mistakes and
Yeah,
their fans still buy their stuff, I said, I'm not going to make giant mistakes, but I said, you just taught me a valuable lesson on not to do in my books, but
yeah.
it happened.
Confident. It's confident. The key is confidence comes first. Of course, you take pride in your work, and
Hmm.
you work your hardest, and you put your belt and buckles on. You get an editor, you do this, you do that. An audiobook, you have somebody proof it. You do what you can do, but
Mm-hmm.
then let go.
You got to let it go, or you won't get able to get that second one out. You got to
Yeah.
let it go. You got to keep it going. I would love to comb through my book. Someone eventually will find a comma missing. I said, but they said I didn't need that comma at the other place. I can't make everybody happy with those commas. I said, why don't you put that imaginary comma in yourself and just keep reading? You don't have to be a set nitpick. That most people, when they read my books, they tell me how great it was. And then I say, okay, now here it comes. It's going to be the grammar because I'm horrible in grammar. Even though I love my English class, I was horrible in punctuations. I said, I'm aware of that. So they do it and they said, well, it's this and this. And I said, yeah, I knew those were the things you were going to tell. I know it's a good story. And now I have that cockiness where I say, I know it's a good story. If it was a piece of crap, I would have never sent it to you. I just don't see it that way. I just see my stories. I know who these people are, how they function, and where their lives are headed.
Because
So
you lead with the confidence. You know you've put the time in the graft, and you've practiced, feet on the ground practice, and but that heightened sense of insecurity and holding on too tightly, it shows. We can hear it, we can read it, we can. It's only, it's funny because I got sick and horrible cough for a long time, messed up my voice. And I had a really hard 6 months because I was trying to force my voice to be pretty still.
mm,
But I sounded like a 99-year-old man with a 12 pack of Marlboro habit a day that drives trucks for a living,
say
right?
that.
So I let go of being pretty, and I had no choice but to focus completely on acting.
Mm,
And now that I can now manage my voice, so I can be pretty again if the need arises,
right.
but I'm now confident, so confident in my acting, I don't need to be pretty. And really great actress like Meryl Streep, she'll rock up playing an ugly character.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't need to be the hot chick. You know what I
No.
mean? That's the power, where you get to the point that you don't need to be whatever they want to label you as and then
Mm-hmm.
judge you. Are you hot enough? Are you young enough? Do you fit in enough? Are you writing the right genre? Is your book the exact perfect length? Are you not letting your guy jump across the roof? You know what I mean?
Right.
When you get beyond that, the next step, where you know you're good. We all know we're not perfect. You don't need to be perfect, do we? But we're
It's
good.
true. It's true.
Yeah.
Um, when I get depressed and discouraged, I listen to all my audiobooks, but especially
Oh,
yours. I just sit there, I
oh,
listen to them, and I said, this reminds me of why I started doing this. It reminds me of where this story is leading, who these people are. And I listen to them in out of order or in order, but I listen to them and I sit there like, oh my God, that was so hilarious. That was so good. I love these kids. I said, these good people are awesome. And I said, you guys brought these people to life for me. When your voice came across on that audio and I heard it, and I was like I said, I was just giddy. I was just so giddy. And now I'm just so proud to just turn it on. And people says, who's your favorite writer? I said, it's me. God, and nobody yet to still write
as
these
it
books the
should
way I
be,
want.
as it should
I
be.
said,
Because
first
if
and
you weren't your
foremost, it
favorite
is me.
writer, then just let the other guy do it.
Yeah. I said, why should I do? I said, there's some great writers out there. But I said, who's my favorite? It is me. Because I can't not put my books down. I can listen to them 24/7. And that's how it should be. Your books
Yeah,
should be your babies. Um,
yeah,
if they're not, then you're just writing for the masses. And I know people who are writing for the masses. And I said, those books are horrible. Don't do
yeah.
it. You're
They're
going to be
writing for the
unhappy.
masses because they're writing for validation and approval. And it's the
Exactly.
same thing with reviews. I mean, everyone does their own thing. I say this all the time. I have, from the very beginning, I got an amazing review, my very first book. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. But I
Mhm.
quit theater for 5 years because a theater critic hated me. And his biggest complaint was that I had a very fake American accent. It was over here in the UK. But like anyone with common sense would think, right, he's an idiot. But no,
Yeah.
I quit theater for 5 years because of it.
Wow.
It was a lead role and I quit. And my first review was amazing. And then somebody just completely trashed me in the second review. And I was listening to a podcast and the woman said good reviews are just as bad for you as bad reviews. Because every single time you listen to a review, you are reminding yourself that what they think matters more than what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got a guy that listens to my reviews, and every month or so, if we pick up on something, I read his, he reads mine.
Mhm.
If I suddenly develop a lisp, he'll let me know. But aside from that, I don't need to know if some guy in some state in the middle of America, unhappy with his job, buying pizza, doesn't like my voice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I can't stand reviews who actually do a review when they only read like 10 pages. I said, why did you do the review? Why? Why did you need to do a review? Because you had to stop at 10 pages. Sorry, I wasn't your cup of tea. But what did you expect? I guess my book covers don't show that they're about gay characters. So when people do get them, but the
Well,
synopsis tells
that
you,
kind of thing pisses me off.
yeah,
Why should they?
yeah,
Why
why do I
should they?
have to have a naked
I
man
open
on
a
my
book, I don't like it, I close the book.
exactly. Close the book. Don't read it anymore. I've done that, but I won't
Yeah.
leave them a bad review because I couldn't finish it.
And
And it's
also
just
because you
not
have a
my thing.
life and you don't have time
Yeah,
to look.
I don't have time. I really don't.
Yeah.
But it's just, I would never do that to a person. Even if, if my greatest enemy, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. It's just not, what's the point of giving somebody bad news because you're unhappy? So I
Yeah.
assume you're probably a writer who's mad because you can't finish your story. So you're going to come after me. Maybe that could be the reason. I said, but then okay. I said, it's got to be up to the people who buy it because apparently people who buy it said they loved it. So I said, I
And
got to do it.
everyone can write what they want is the thing as well. I mean, I'm gonna have leave the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're thinking this was so horrible, it rocked my world and upset me so much. So I'm very, very upset, and I need to warn people in case anyone ever else gets the shock of their life. But in a world where they actually are seriously banning books, I
Mhm.
just think it's like a very rocky path
It is. It
that
is. And
people
I'm
are
glad I got
traveling.
these books out here because I said these are, someone I said it might be in my lifetime, but they might take off after I pass on. And that's for my children to enjoy. I want to show them. There's a lot of great writers whose books didn't launch well until after their death. So I said, if I gotta be that person, so be it. Right now, I'm enjoying them. I'm gonna enjoy it and just have a great time putting them down on paper. And the fans will come. And if they don't, I don't need to be famous. Good Lord, I don't want to be famous. I just want to be able to pay my bills and keep writing. That's what
Yeah.
I want to do. Pay my bills, eat, maybe a little travel. I don't need to go nuts. And just be able to write because once I get to where I'm traveling to, I'm going to sit down and start writing. It's just going to be what I'm doing on
Yeah.
vacation.
Well, but what were we saying? What was I saying? Why take a vacation so you can do what you want to do? You should be doing what you
Exactly.
want to do every day.
Yeah. People think I'm boring. They said, what are you going to do? I'm going to be home writing my stories. Really? That's it? Yeah. I said, I'm sorry that's the boring to you, but I'm going
You
to be
thought I
having a
was
ball.
pretending these 40 years that like I'd spent all my time doing this? You thought I was what? Gonna get over it?
I think they thought I was going to get over it. I said, what? There's nothing else I want to do but write my stories.
Yeah.
And I said, if you don't find that interesting, then I won't talk to you about it anymore. And that's what I do. If they don't bring it up, I don't bring it up. I said, I know the ones who like me and I know the ones who don't. So
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. And somebody told me I was going through a stressful time. It's like, I'm never gonna fit in. I don't want to fit in. Why does it bother me that I'm not fitting in? And he was like, there are creators and there are destroyers. You're either creating or you're looking at what other people are doing, trying to destroy that.
mhm.
And it made a lot of sense. I really respected him, and it put it in perspective. And I always think to myself at times like that, do I want to be a creator or a destroyer? If I'm a creator, I don't have time to waste whining. Get to work.
Get to work. That's right.
Yeah. Phoebe, it has been a pure joy catching up with you.
It's been an honor. See you.
Thank you
I mean,
so
I've been
much for
waiting for
taking.
this.
Well, I knew this was going to be a fabulous conversation. The minute I saw your Amazon bio, because you just didn't waste any time with all the other stuff.
No.
You were just like, this is what matters. And I love that. I like people that get right to the heart of things and don't waste time. I like that.
Nope. Oh my
I
God.
wish you the very best. Send me any links you want to your books and whatever, and I'll add them to the about section.
Okay.
And I
Should I
wish you the
send it to
best.
your Facebook page? I
Just
think that'd
email it.
be
Just email it to
email it.
me.
Okay, I'll do that.
Email the links to me in the next few days, and I'll make sure they're in the about section.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. Jonathan, it was a pleasure seeing you. I hope you both have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye, bye.
Bye.